Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Continuing with NFL Week 3. Interesting matchup here in Detroit. You got the Falcons at the Lions. Line is currently Detroit -3. It was at 3.5. Now it's back down to 3. Total sitting at 46.5. Let's go.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Source. Hey, get the Source.
So this line was at 3 super early, and it actually spent most of the week up at 3.5, like I said. Now it's back down to 3. Maybe it's because the public's betting Detroit. Maybe it's because of the Lions injury report, which we'll get to in a second. But as far as the action, we got a pros versus public setup here. Public definitely leaning towards the Lions. Sharp action seems to be in on the Falcons. So this Detroit Lions season, off to a bit of a roller coaster start here. Obviously, the opener in Kansas City, they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, but they got knocked off their high horse pretty quickly, coming back home to lose to the Seahawks. A little bit of air has been let out of the Detroit Lions balloon. And now the injuries the Lions are dealing with, I mean, this just sucks. Good news would be it looks like St. Brown's going to play. He said he's expecting to play. I don't think the Lions actually came out and confirmed that, but he says he's expecting to play. So I'm assuming most likely he's going to play. Also, the other receiver, Josh Reynolds, he's questionable, but it looks like he's going to play as well. He was a full participant in practice on Friday. So that's the good news. Both of those guys should be on the field for Detroit, but there's no Taylor Decker, their star left tackle. There's no Vitae, the guard that they didn't have all last year. Finally came back. He's hurt again. Most likely no David Montgomery. He's listed as doubtful. Now Gibbs looks great, but the Lions averaged just 3.8 yards per carry last week against Seattle. So run game could definitely use the combination of both those guys. And then we flip it around and look at the Lions defense, and it somehow gets even worse. This is bad. Missing 3 key pieces of the secondary. Manuel Mosley out. He didn't play last week either, though. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he played last week. He's out. Kirby Joseph also played last week. He's out as well. James Houston is out as well. And if you don't know who that is, that's the kid who played on Jackson State with Dion. He was an undrafted free agent. He was on the practice squad for most of last season. He joined the Lions to play the final 7 games, recorded 8 sacks in the last 7 games of the season with the Lions. And he's off to a great start again this year. He's got a 23.1% win rate on pass rushes. That's the 10th best of all NFL players. He's out as well. So the Lions pass defense as a whole, absolutely decimated. And that's a concern, because did you see what the Detroit defense looked like last week? It wasn't the run game that was letting them down. I mean, the run defense was solid. They held Kenneth Walker to just 17 carries, 43 yards on the ground. He did get in the end zone a couple times, but 2.5 yards per carry is not an efficient day running the ball. Seattle beat the Lions defense through the air. Geno Smith was awesome. Lions pass defense just could not stop the Seahawks passing attack. Geno Smith threw for 328 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 116.3 passer rating. Detroit's pass rush, also kind of a concern for me. I mean, if you remember, this unit came alive in the second half of last year. Aiden Hutchinson really showed up. James Houston, like I just mentioned. This season, Lions allowing quarterbacks an average of 3.27 seconds to throw, which is the worst in the NFL. And now James Houston's out, so take another piece off that pass rush. So 3 members of the secondary and an edge rusher, plus the pass defense looked terrible last week. The pass defense looks like it's in horrible shape for the Lions right now. But I have some good news for the Lions defense. You're playing the Falcons, and Atlanta doesn't want to throw the ball. The Falcons have passed on just 43.65% of their snaps this year. It's dead last in the NFL. So the pressure is going to be on this Lions run defense, this Lions defensive front, to stop the Falcons run game, which, like I said, they did a great job against Kenneth Walker last week. Falcons offense is basically picking up right where they left off last year as far as running the football. 5th in rushing DVOA, 5th in adjusted line yards, 7th in yards per carry, and with Bijan Robinson added to the mix, this is probably the most dynamic rushing attack in the NFL. But it's hard to believe that this Falcons team is going to come into Ford Field and keep up with the Lions offense strictly by running the ball. Desmond Ridder is going to have to make some plays through the air. And when it comes to Ridder, to be honest, I'm still kind of struggling to get a read on this guy. He's very safe with the football, which is good. Actually, he just threw his first career interception last week against the Packers. So let's give him some credit for that. But we do have to admit, it's a little bit easier to be safe with the football when you have a badass running game behind you and you have receiving weapons like Drake London and Kyle Pitts, who are top of the NFL in separation created. One thing we do have to say about Desmond Ridder, though, and I know it's only been 2 games, it's a small sample size, so let's not get carried away. But this kid's been ice cold when it counts, man. I mean, last week in particular, Packers were up 24-12. Falcons get the ball back at the end of the third quarter, down 12. Ritter takes him right down the field, touchdown, 24-19. Gets the ball back, 44-yard drive, field goal. They're down 24-22. Gets the ball back, 66-yard drive, field goal to win the game. Desmond Ritter threw for 107 yards and rushed for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. In a come-from-behind victory, they were down 2 scores. A lot of people criticize his skill set as a passer, and I admit there's been times he's looked questionable, but he shut a lot of people up in the fourth quarter last week. And you know what? I got to give one more positive point for Desmond Ritter here. So Ritter just 27th in the NFL in average air yards per attempt, just 5.9 air yards per pass attempt, meaning he doesn't throw the ball downfield much. And you'd think that would be a negative, but weirdly, that actually plays into the weakness of the Lions defense. I talked about this in week 1. Detroit is 28th in DVOA against short passes, 16th against deep ones. I know that's razor thin, and those numbers might be a little bit irrelevant, but I thought it was interesting enough to add to the video. All that being said, I mean, I'm still not really a believer in Ritter yet. I need to see more. And let's be real, this is just his 3rd road start. He's never won a road game before in his career, and it's a rough one, playing in Detroit where Jared Goff just always goes off. So will Atlanta be able to run the ball in this game and keep the chains moving? Yeah, probably at times. Will Desmond Ritter be able to make some plays through the air on the injured Lions secondary? Yeah, probably a little bit, but I'm sorry, there's just no way I can see this Falcons offense keeping up with Goff and the Lions in Detroit. I mean, they go nuts at home. So as far as when I'm betting, yes, I'm concerned about the Lions injuries, but now that it's down to an even 3, I'm definitely on Detroit here. I'm going to lay the 3 with the Lions. I'm also probably going to bet the over at 46.5. I know that's probably a bit square. Public's definitely on the over in this one, but 46.5 is just such a low number for this stadium. So I'll take Lions -3. Might also place a few dollars on the over at 46.5. I'll let you know for sure the final decisions on the live show at 11 a.m. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, if you want to join our Discord, or if you want to get involved in the NFL Against the Spread giveaway contest, last week's winner got a signed Drake London helmet. This week's winner gets a signed David Montgomery jersey. If you're interested in that, head over to KyleKirms.com. All the information's right on the homepage. NFL Week 3, another football Sundays here. Let's have ourselves a good one. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll chat with you in Discord.